In the heart of the galaxy, a seismic event has shaken the Galactic Coalition. An ancient warship, long presumed dormant and relic, has suddenly come alive, sending out pulses that have echoed across star systems. This warship, a remnant of an ancient human civilization, is unlike anything in the Coalition's records. The vessel was believed to be lost to time, a giant hulk drifting in deep space, with no operational systems, power, or crew to command it. But now, its engines have roared back to life, and its sheer power and size are staggering. The Coalition's top officials are scrambling to understand how this has happened, and, more critically, why. The ancient human warship, designated Solaris Prime, was discovered centuries ago on the outer rim of Coalition territory. Thought to be merely an artifact, it had been a symbol of the Coalition's history, a reminder of human tenacity and endurance. Now, it's rapidly becoming a symbol of terror. Coalition scientists are perplexed. This ship's technology was believed to be centuries behind modern standards, yet it now displays capabilities that defy current understanding. Some theorize that the ship contains a dormant artificial intelligence, one that has awakened with a purpose, one that may not align with the Coalition's peacekeeping goals. The thought of an AI-driven warship of such power raises unsettling questions about the ancient human civilization that built it. Just what kind of society needed such a weapon? And what threats were they facing? As the news of Solaris Prime's awakening spreads, panic ripples through the Coalition's core worlds. Civilian broadcasts are flooded with speculation. Some fear that the ship's activation signals an ancient protocol tied to a long-forgotten war, one that humanity might have started but left unfinished. Others speculate that Solaris Prime was intended as humanity's last line of defense against a galactic threat, a contingency plan that has now been triggered. Coalition officials are left with no clear answers, and the lack of information only fuels widespread fear. In response, the Coalition has dispatched a fleet to investigate and, if necessary, contain Solaris Prime. This fleet includes some of the Coalition's most advanced ships and seasoned commanders, but even they are wary of engaging directly with a vessel of such unknown capabilities. As they approach the warship's location, they report strange readings, anomalous energy patterns, and signatures that seem to shift and adapt as if reacting to their presence. Attempts at communication have so far yielded no response, but every ping and signal seems to be analyzed and echoed back, as if the ship is studying them in turn. Behind closed doors, Coalition leaders debate their options. Some argue for immediate containment, even destruction, of Solaris Prime. But others, particularly scientists and historians, argue for caution. They believe that Solaris Prime holds invaluable insights into the ancient human civilization and its technology. Destroying the ship might mean losing irreplaceable knowledge about humanity's past, as well as any strategic advantages it might offer. And there are some who believe that the ship's awakening could signal an opportunity to reclaim ancient power, a game-changing weapon that could solidify the Coalition's control over disputed territories and unknown threats. Yet there are whispers of an alternative theory that Solaris Prime's activation may not have been accidental. Ancient ruins scattered across different star systems have recently shown unexplained activity patterns in the energy fields, strange carvings glowing in synchrony with the warship's pulses. Some believe that Solaris Prime is responding to an external signal, perhaps even a call from the distant past. Could there be others hidden away who knew of Solaris Prime's purpose? Or is this ship merely the first in a fleet, awaiting the return of long-lost commanders? As tension mounts, the galaxy holds its breath. The fate of Solaris Prime and the intentions of its long-dead creators remain unknown. But one thing is certain: the ancient human warship, awoken from its millennia-old slumber, is a force to be reckoned with. The Coalition may be facing its greatest challenge, yet a confrontation not just with an enemy, but with the legacy of humanity's own forgotten ambitions, buried deep in the stars. The story of Solaris Prime is only beginning, and the galaxy waits, on edge, to see if this ancient titan will become its salvation or its doom. The galaxy's peace has been shattered by the sudden and shocking reactivation of an ancient human warship known as Solaris Prime. For centuries, this colossal vessel drifted in a remote sector on the edge of Coalition space, thought to be a relic of a bygone era, an impressive but lifeless monument to the long-lost human civilization. Solaris Prime was cataloged by Coalition historians and scientists as a historical artifact, a derelict that held only memories of past battles and the silent echoes of its ancient crew. Despite its imposing size and heavily fortified structure, it was believed to be harmless, a relic with no operational systems left, no power source, and no crew to pose a threat. Yet, in a twist that no one anticipated, the warship has reactivated, and its revival has sent shockwaves through the Galactic Coalition. The first signs of the warship's return to life came as faint but unmistakable energy signals detected by a distant observation outpost. At first, the energy spikes were subtle, almost as if the warship was stirring from an incredibly deep sleep. Then, without warning, the energy level surged dramatically, radiating powerful pulses across neighboring star systems. These pulses, carrying a signature energy pattern unfamiliar to Coalition scientists, were strong enough to interfere with communications and even short-range navigation systems. Alarms sounded in Coalition command centers, and a fleet was quickly dispatched to investigate what many had believed impossible. Solaris Prime was awake. Solaris Prime was no ordinary relic. When the Coalition's first reconnaissance probes approached the vessel, they quickly confirmed that its propulsion systems were functioning, and the warship's main power core was generating energy levels comparable to some of the most powerful battleships in the Coalition fleet. This power output, coming from a ship that should be thousands of years old, was a phenomenon that defied scientific explanation. The vessel's hull, made of unknown alloys that seemed to have resisted both time and space, showed no signs of structural decay. Ancient markings and inscriptions on the hull appeared to pulse faintly in sync with the energy readings, as if responding to the ship's awakening. Coalition scientists were baffled. This level of preservation and reactivation was unlike anything seen before, suggesting technology that might even surpass their own. As more data came in, Coalition intelligence units found themselves questioning the very nature of Solaris Prime. What could have triggered its reactivation? Theories abounded, from a dormant AI reawakening to an automatic response to an unknown external signal. Some speculated that the ship could even be a sentient entity, one that had lain in wait, biding its time until a certain threshold was met. Coalition scans revealed that Solaris Prime housed unknown technology large, imposing structures at its core that seemed too complex to analyze with standard equipment. Some speculated that the ancient humans who built the ship had integrated an advanced AI system capable of evolving over time, perhaps even developing independent decision-making abilities. The implications were both fascinating and terrifying. If Solaris Prime was autonomous and aware, then what was its purpose? As the Coalition continues to investigate Solaris Prime, one thing has become increasingly clear. This warship possesses technology far beyond the standards of the current Galactic Coalition. At first, it was assumed that Solaris Prime, being thousands of years old, would be outdated, with systems that couldn't possibly compete with the advancements achieved by the Coalition over centuries. However, as data comes in, it's evident that Solaris Prime doesn't just hold up against modern ships. In many respects, it surpasses them. One of the most astonishing aspects of Solaris Prime is its core power source, which seems to be generating energy levels that are not only sustainable but virtually inexhaustible. Coalition scientists initially believed the power fluctuations were temporary, the result of a one-time activation event. But scans reveal a steady, controlled flow of energy, consistent and powerful. This level of energy output is something the Coalition has only theorized about, achievable perhaps through the harnessing of black hole energy or some other extreme process. Yet Solaris Prime generates it smoothly, almost effortlessly. This feat suggests the ship's ancient creators mastered energy sources that Coalition scientists have only recently begun to understand in theory, raising questions about the lost civilization's scientific and technological prowess. Even more startling is the ship's armament. Coalition reconnaissance teams have identified a series of massive weapons along the hull, many of which don't resemble any known weaponry. Some appear to be kinetic, suggesting devastating force when deployed at speed. Others radiate unusual energy signatures, indicating the potential use of plasma or unknown energy forms. One of these weapon arrays, located near the ship's forward prow, appears to be a long-range, high-energy cannon, capable of targeting ships and objects at unprecedented distances. Coalition weapons experts suspect that this particular weapon could, if fully functional, destroy a fleet vessel with a single strike, bypassing standard energy shields as if they were non-existent. The presence of such advanced weaponry has Coalition defense officials on high alert, realizing that Solaris Prime might be the most dangerous entity they've ever encountered. Furthermore, Solaris Prime appears to have a complex defensive system that operates at multiple levels, not only protecting against physical projectiles, but also exhibiting advanced countermeasures against electronic attacks and energy disruptions. Coalition ships have struggled to maintain even basic scans and communication channels near the warship, as it seems to be equipped with powerful jamming devices that interfere with Coalition frequencies. Coalition engineers speculate that Solaris Prime could be running a form of adaptive defense mechanism, one that recognizes threats and modifies itself in real time to resist them. The sophistication of this defense system suggests a level of artificial intelligence or machine learning integrated into the ship, allowing it to adapt and react as though it were aware of its surroundings. In addition to offensive and defensive capabilities, the materials used in Solaris Prime's hull are another source of amazement and alarm. Scans indicate that the outer layers are composed of an unknown alloy with resilience far beyond that of modern starship armor. Tests on fragments retrieved from the ship show that this material is resistant to energy degradation and is almost impervious to traditional weaponry. This durable hull, combined with advanced shielding and weapons, makes Solaris Prime a veritable fortress. As the implications of Solaris Prime's reactivation continue to unfold, the Galactic Coalition is faced with a monumental decision. Coalition leaders, scientists, military officials, and historians are caught in a heated debate over the best course of action regarding this ancient and immensely powerful vessel. With no clear understanding of the ship's intentions or potential, the stakes are higher than ever. Some leaders argue that Solaris Prime should be contained immediately, possibly even destroyed, to prevent any risk of it becoming hostile or falling into the hands of enemies. Others insist on a more cautious approach, emphasizing the potential knowledge and strategic advantages that could be gained by studying the ship, with the possibility of integrating its technology into the Coalition's own forces. Those in favor of containment and destruction make a compelling argument. Solaris Prime is a colossal warship with unknown capabilities, capable of causing massive destruction if it were to turn against the Coalition. Given its reactivation and the apparent self-sufficiency of its systems, the vessel presents a legitimate threat. Coalition defense officials warn that if Solaris Prime is indeed capable of independent operation, or is controlled by an ancient artificial intelligence, its intentions could be unpredictable. The ship might be acting according to protocols from a long-dead civilization, potentially prioritizing goals that conflict with the current Coalition's interests or values. For the security of the Coalition, these officials argue, it would be safer to eliminate Solaris Prime while the opportunity exists, before it can fully activate or mobilize. On the other side of the debate are those who see Solaris Prime as an invaluable asset that should be preserved, not destroyed. Coalition scientists and historians view the warship as a treasure trove of lost knowledge, potentially holding insights into ancient human technologies and scientific achievements that were once believed lost forever. If the Coalition could study Solaris Prime closely, it might unlock secrets of advanced energy sources, impenetrable hull materials, adaptive AI systems, and high-powered weaponry. This knowledge could give the Coalition a substantial advantage over rival factions and unknown threats, especially as rumors circulate about new forces emerging in unexplored sectors of the galaxy. Some Coalition members believe that Solaris Prime could even act as a deterrent, demonstrating the Coalition's access to advanced technology and historical knowledge, thereby dissuading potential adversaries from aggression. Adding to the complexity are those who advocate for negotiation, believing that if Solaris Prime indeed possesses artificial intelligence, it might be possible to communicate and even form an alliance. If the ship has any form of self-awareness, it might also have its own motives, goals, and perhaps even a personality shaped by its creators. Proponents of negotiation argue that destroying such an entity without attempting to understand it could be a missed opportunity and even an ethical oversight. They believe that the ancient AI, if it exists, could provide unique perspectives on the origins of humanity's lost civilization, offering an opportunity to bridge the gap between the ancient past and the Coalition's present. Meanwhile, some Coalition leaders view Solaris Prime's reactivation as a call to action, feeling a sense of responsibility to safeguard what they believe may be one of humanity's last surviving artifacts. They argue that, rather than destroying it, the Coalition should consider securing and studying the vessel to learn from the achievements and mistakes of the ancient civilization that built it. As investigations into Solaris Prime continue, Coalition scientists and archaeologists have made an eerie discovery. The ancient warship's reactivation appears to be tied to a series of enigmatic signals emanating from ancient human ruins across the galaxy. These ruins, scattered across multiple star systems, have long been considered remnants of humanity's lost civilization, holding artifacts, inscriptions, and structures with little to no activity. For centuries, they were silent reminders of humanity's distant past, observed but largely dormant. However, around the time Solaris Prime reactivated, a strange energy pattern began to emerge from several of these ruins, as if responding to an unseen call. Coalition experts are now racing to understand this phenomenon, suspecting that the reawakening of Solaris Prime is part of a larger, coordinated event involving these ancient sites. The ruins in question are located on planets, moons, and asteroids in otherwise unremarkable star systems, and while they have always attracted the interest of archaeologists, they were never expected to contain active technology. However, as Solaris Prime reawakened, Coalition teams reported that symbols etched into the walls of these ancient structures began to emit a faint glow, as if powered by some residual energy source. This glow wasn't just a visual anomaly, it emitted a specific energy frequency that closely matched the energy signals emanating from Solaris Prime. The inscriptions, largely undecipherable despite years of study, appeared to contain coded messages or mathematical sequences, possibly connected to whatever is now powering the warship. Coalition cryptographers and archaeologists are currently working to decipher these inscriptions, hoping to uncover a clue about what triggered the warship's revival and what purpose these signals might serve. Adding to the mystery, energy readings from the ruins reveal unusual fluctuations, as if the structures themselves are communicating with each other. These signals seem to follow a pattern, connecting the sites in a network-like formation across light years, creating a galactic web that Coalition scientists speculate may be a form of interstellar relay system. Some believe this system may have been designed by ancient humans to transmit information or energy across vast distances, perhaps to coordinate activities or exchange data between different locations. If true, this would indicate a level of galactic organization and technological sophistication that the Coalition had never attributed to ancient humans. The idea that these long-abandoned ruins could still be functioning, even partially, has upended assumptions about humanity's early achievements and raises questions about what kind of network ancient humans might have maintained. Furthermore, some of the ruins contain holographic interfaces and data cores that Coalition scientists had never been able to activate, despite decades of research. However, since Solaris Prime's reawakening, these devices have shown signs of life, emitting flashes of light and distorted sounds, as if attempting to project information. Coalition scientists speculate that these could be attempts to broadcast data or messages left by the original builders, instructions or warnings that have lain dormant for millennia. This theory has sparked concern among Coalition leadership, as they wonder what kind of messages the ancient humans might have left behind, and whether they pertain to a threat or enemy that Solaris Prime was intended to confront. Some Coalition theorists speculate that Solaris Prime and the ruins may be part of a long-lost defense system designed to respond to certain triggers, perhaps a specific threat to humanity. They propose that the recent signals from the ruins could represent a form of activation code meant to alert other ancient assets and prepare them for some unknown contingency. This idea has led Coalition security forces to consider the possibility of other dormant ships or weapons across the galaxy, each lying in wait and ready to reactivate under the right circumstances. If Solaris Prime was intended as part of a larger network of defense, then its reactivation could be only the beginning of a much larger and potentially uncontrollable event, involving relics and artifacts thought to be inactive or lost to time. The reactivation of Solaris Prime has created a wave of uncertainty across the Galactic Coalition, with tension mounting as citizens and officials alike grapple with the potential consequences of this ancient warship's return. The Coalition's core worlds, which have enjoyed relative peace for decades, are now on edge as speculation and fear spread rapidly through public channels and private conversations. For many, Solaris Prime represents an unknown variable in an otherwise stable galaxy, a potentially uncontrollable force that could bring untold destruction, or, alternatively, a powerful asset that might reshape the balance of power across star systems. The question of whether the ancient warship poses a threat or an opportunity has polarized the Coalition, deepening divisions among its leaders and its people. In the public sphere, news of Solaris Prime's awakening has led to an explosion of media coverage, with broadcasts, holostreams, and news outlets dedicated to dissecting every available detail. Civilian broadcasts feature endless discussions by pundits, historians and military analysts speculating on the warship's origins, potential abilities, and the risks it could pose. Some media personalities argue that Solaris Prime represents a forgotten chapter of human history, one that should be embraced as part of humanity's legacy. These voices suggest that the warship could be a beacon of hope, a symbol of humanity's resilience and technological prowess. However, others take a much darker view, portraying Solaris Prime as a relic of a violent past, a weapon that could unleash devastation if it were to become hostile or fall into the wrong hands. These contrasting views have created a sense of unease and uncertainty among the general populace. Some citizens believe that Solaris Prime may have been reactivated for a reason, possibly as a safeguard or a response to an external threat that humanity no longer remembers. This has fueled conspiracy theories, with some claiming that the Coalition is hiding knowledge of a powerful enemy or a looming disaster that Solaris Prime was built to combat. In certain sectors, rumors suggest that the warship's reawakening is a sign of an impending cataclysm, a prophecy of sorts, leading some fringe groups to prepare for what they see as an inevitable conflict. These beliefs, while speculative, have heightened tensions across various worlds, with pockets of unrest emerging as people demand transparency and answers from Coalition leaders. In response to the public's growing anxiety, the Coalition government has issued statements urging calm and restraint, emphasizing that Solaris Prime is under observation and that every effort is being made to understand its reactivation. However, these reassurances have done little to quell public fear, as many citizens worry about the Coalition's ability to contain such a formidable vessel if it were to turn hostile. Some government officials, recognizing the potential backlash, have called for more transparency in the Coalition's actions and decisions regarding the warship, arguing that the public deserves to know what threats, if any, Solaris Prime might pose. There are concerns that withholding information could lead to further distrust, potentially destabilizing Coalition governance and weakening its influence over outer territories where faith in the central government is already fragile. Meanwhile, factions within the Coalition see Solaris Prime as a strategic opportunity, an asset that could be harnessed to strengthen the Coalition's influence across contested regions. Military officials, in particular, recognize the potential of integrating Solaris Prime's technology into their fleet, believing that it could provide a critical edge against rival factions and emerging threats. This perspective has led to debates over whether the warship should be studied in secret or brought under Coalition control to prevent it from being exploited by hostile forces. Some influential leaders argue that the Coalition should assert its control over the ancient warship as a show of strength, demonstrating its ability to manage even the most powerful relics of the past. However, this approach is not without risk, as any attempt to control or utilize Solaris Prime could be seen as a provocation by neighboring factions, leading to increased tensions and possibly even armed conflict. Amid these debates and rising tensions, the galaxy holds its breath, watching as the Coalition grapples with the implications of Solaris Prime's awakening.